Attendance,
O'Neill, here.
Fullerton, Barcola, also Law Director and Fiscal Officer. We rise for the pledge, please. And once the pledge has been finished, would you please stand and offer a moment of silence for John Tetrick, a Cleveland firefighter, cleared to the line of duty. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. And we do have agendas. They weren't able to get up on the screen. Yeah, just. Chief, thank you very much. Okay. We have some meeting minutes from prior meetings to be approved. The July 18th meeting minutes had already been approved, we just had to have the copy signed. So set for approval are the meeting minutes for September 19th, 2022, November 7th, 2022, and special meeting November 8th, 2022. Any discussion?
Real quick, I just want to make sure that the September 19th minutes with the Dyna-American sewer scoping, the pipes, was that changed to Hunter's Run? I know the initial.
Oh, is that what that was? No, it
Yeah.
was not.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
can go ahead and
With
make
that change,
adjustments.
I would make a motion to
Thank
approve. All three.
Second?
Yeah, I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign? Okay, all approved then, thank you. Okay, for our consent agenda, we have the fiscal report, the fire district report, service, zoning, and police reports. Has everyone had a chance to review those reports?
Yes.
Yes.
Any comments, any questions, anything on those?
Nope.
No? Okay, do we have a motion to approve and accept?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, same sign? All right, motion carried, all approved. All right, going down the line for extra things above and beyond the consent agenda, fiscal officer.
Okay, I have some resolutions I am requesting be passed. The first one is an amendment that came from Kristen at the county auditor's office. This is just to adjust the rates based on the levy that had passed.
Okay,
So same wording, just she
do we have
changed
a
the amount.
resolution number on here?
No, I'll add that after.
Okay.
We're gonna start at 19.
Okay, I would, do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
Say this again, Laura, so you know what we're talking about.
It's the same resolution that we passed, I think it was in October. It's from the auditor's office, and they just had to adjust the rates based on the levy that had passed in the election.
Yep.
Did we make a motion or a second?
We need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, do you have a second?
I'll second.
Excuse me, can you, when you make the motion, Chris, can you tell me what you're making a motion for so that when I hear it on the tape, I know exactly what it is you're motioning for?
This is an amendment to the resolution from October 3rd, based on the auditor's information.
All those in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign? Okay, next.
Okay, the next, this is both for the fire and the township. This is a resolution to increase funds due to more revenue than anticipated. So there's an increase in the general fund due to zoning receipts, an increase in road and bridge due to culvert replacement charges, and then in the fire fund for collecting from the EMS services. Everything in the fire fund, though, will get transferred over to the fire district, but we have to reseed it and then send it. So,
All right. Did you guys get a chance to review that one?
Yes, I have.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
I would move to approve the resolution for the township and as well as the fire district. additional monies.
Okay,
I'll second.
second both?
I'll
Okay.
second.
Yes.
All right, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign? Okay. Next?
Okay, and this is just following those resolutions. These are to amend the permanent appropriations based on the numbers that I gave you there.
That's two separate resolutions, one for each,
That's
right?
one for fire and
Okay.
one for township.
Okay. And to be clear, Chris, when you motioned, that was for both of those resolutions, for the fire and the township for the increased funds, correct?
Yep.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the amended permanent appropriations for fire district and for township?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the fire district, total amount of $1,982,587.08, and also the township at a total of $2,911,273.56.
Do we have a second on both?
I will second both.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign? Okay, none being heard, all passed. Okay. All right, service department, anything?
Nothing to add. Rick's out sick,
Okay.
but I have nothing to add.
Okay. Fire department, anything to add?
Just a couple quick things I want to highlight if I can.
Okay,
The visit with Santa is coming on December 17th. So that is out, there's information out on the social media and all that, or you can call in here. Would like to resolve this engine, what we're gonna do with that old engine tonight. And then I wanted to highlight a couple things. Our awards this year, I think it's worthy of letting everybody know, the awards received this year. Our Rookie of the Year, these are, departmental awards are awards that they're nominated by their peers. So they're internal, the peers nominate them for awards, and then, we ask that they do a little blurb to talk about why they think they should get these awards. So it's not a popularity contest or anything. Our Rookie of the Year this year was firefighter medic Ben Grega. The Vision Award, which goes to the person who exemplifies the mission statement of the department, was firefighter medic Jessica White. EMT of the Year, or Medic of the Year, was Lieutenant Cody Uniac. Firefighter of the Year was Phil Willis. And the Chief's Award went to Lieutenant Shane Jenkins. And then we also recognized recent retirees, Scott Romanoff with 32 years of service, Chuck Osborne 25 years, Pete DeLovey with 19 years, and Adam Nilsson 17 years. So just wanted to acknowledge that and put that on the record. Also, and maybe we might need to revisit this, but I forgot to print out the different billing rates. That,
yeah, we get that at our next
current rates
meeting.
and the proposed rates. So if we can revisit that for the end of the meeting or something, maybe.
Well, we got, at our next meeting, if you can get that all
Okay.
on one sheet, so we can see apples to apples.
Okay. So, that's, and then also I think you wanted to do a moment.
We did, you were
We did
out
while
of
you
the
were
room.
out. We got you
Sure,
covered.
send me out, make copies while you did. Gotcha.
I'm sorry.
So,
Okay,
those are the highlights.
all right. Police, anything above and beyond the report?
Just a couple things. There were 453 total incidents in October. There were 14 crashes, which is very high. It's typically not that high. We'll continue to monitor that for any trends.
Were they kind of well,
They were spread out.
okay, it wasn't just one particular area?
Correct.
Okay.
They were spread. December 10th is the FOP Shop with a Cop. The schools nominate the families to get to participate in that, and this year they're. And we just wanted to thank everyone who came out and supported the levy.
Thank you. Okay. Zoning, anything above and beyond the report?
Yes, excuse me. So far, the fees that have been collected through the end of October is $53,852.30 versus all of 21 was $23,848,472. Excuse me, I was wrong on that one. It's 58,000, et cetera, versus 21 for the whole year, and 23,848,472 for the value added to the township versus all of last year, 11,980,000. So we got a few extra coins in the coffer on that. I want to respond to some of the complaints that were listed last meeting. The gentleman on Lafayette Road, is it Dave Hollish? I think I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but he was questioning what the materials were on that property. I did have contact with him, and he's definitely not selling anything. What he's doing is, his property that you can see is level. The property behind his house is on a downgrade, and he is trying to raise up the level of his property so he has more use of it. And he does not need a permit from the township, but he does have a permit from the county to use the concrete that you see occasionally is there, because you can't do it all at once. It has to come in when you can get a hold of it. Long before my time, there was a large dog kennel there, and all the concrete is eventually being tore up from that, and they're crushing it, and they're going to be using it to build up that back part of his property. And that pile of dirt is going to be used for topsoil once it's leveled up where it should be, so that he could grow grass. The grindings are to make his driveway more usable. So again, people should not maybe conject that something's wrong there, but it's not. He's very cooperative, he does not want to have any problems, and so far, there's no issue for a township involvement or the zoning, specifically the zoning, but the township in general. I'm sorry that not everybody is here for the Pulcher thing. Dave Hollish also mentioned, why is that taking so long? Well, as I stated at the time, the health department is only really interested in garbage. I know that's kind of crazy, but the food scraps and things that draw animals. And we contacted the health department. I know trustee Bowers took it over somewhere back in 2021. And the health department's been out there. There's 11 pages of correspondence and notes from the health department. And as I said before, that sometimes it is a little better, sometimes it's not. And of course, everybody said I was, I don't know what, but I wasn't right. But the health department states that as well. And the very last page of the health department I find very, very interesting, because they say that they've been working with him virtually, and he is a scrapper. And if anybody in the room doesn't know what a scrapper is, they go out on the garbage routes the night before, and they pick up anything they think they could resell or salvage. And if I'm correct, Bill, we can't stop a scrapper. And the last paragraph, it says, it appears the occupant is always bringing new stuff in and out. Resident was reminded, scrap items cannot remain on the property for unattended period, extended periods of time, and must go in and out in a reasonable time. And that was their last comment on February 12th. Is that a February? The handwriting of this individual has great notes, but it's a little tricky to read. I guess that's a 4, I'm sorry, on April 12th, 22. So it has been going back. They're scrappers, and as long as he doesn't have garbage on there, not much we can do, Bill.
Well, depends. I mean, if it meets your definition of junkyard, it would be illegal.
Well, scrapper,
But you can't have a business there. It's a residential, I think we're talking about, right? It's
Well-
not for a commercial business.
the scrapper on Ryan Road, you said we couldn't do anything about, and the scrapper on Columbia Road.
The one, what you said was in a commercial area, so that was a
No,
commercial.
neither one.
I don't know about the others, but
But
if it
anyway,
meets
he's a
it meets
scrapper.
the definition of junkyard is the question. If they're talking about the expansiveness of it, it may meet your definition of junkyard.
I don't know, but obviously scrappers theoretically go out and get the stuff, sort out what they can resell theoretically, take it and sell it, and the stuff they can't sell, they're supposed to get rid of. So I don't know exactly where this falls, but there's 11-page document here if,
I have not seen it, but, I
okay.
guess.
I made a copy.
Need some pictures of it, I understand
Oh,
there's
there's
gonna
a
be
ton
some
of
aerial
pictures.
photographs of it as well. But I said, if it meets your definition of a junkyard, legal action can be taken.
The police department is trying to get drone footage, they may have some available soon. They've also been doing drive-bys to see if they can ascertain whether somebody's living in the RV on that property.
That I don't know. I know someone said they saw someone come out of it, but
Right.
I won't speculate what they were doing in it. But anyway, that's where we're at, and the other one on Polka Road still has time before, we need to check on it again, so.
Well, the second one though had a 30-day.
Right.
Right, where are we at on it?
About 3 weeks into the 30 days, would be like the first week
So
of
by the next
December.
meeting, we should have.
The exact date, I don't remember offhand.
I did meet with the landowner too, with Mr. Lipka next door, and talked with the Ohio EPA. I'm gonna try to look at the pipes that were reportedly coming out of his barn or shed, whatever you wanna call
The
it.
next door neighbors, yeah.
Yeah.
Did they do that yet?
The EPA? No, I've contacted them, but I don't
Okay.
think they've made a visit.
So, I don't know what else we could do at this moment.
Hopefully by, the next meeting would be enough time to at least address the letter regarding inhabiting the trailer or RV.
I would hope so.
Should be.
And if we can get some aerial, particularly, we can determine whether or not that would meet your definition of junkyard. Your
Don't have
definition.
overhead, but there are pictures
Oh,
and,
no, that's what the police are getting, overhead drone
oh,
shots.
they're gonna, there's stuff along the side of the driveway. Apparently, he brings it and dumps it, doesn't take it all the way up to the house, some of it, I suppose he does. But when he sorts it and when it goes, like the one on Columbia, he says weekly, he takes the stuff away. They go out, they bring all this stuff back, they strip it of all whatever they can sell. And then they take that down and sell it, and what they don't, they take it down to Lake Road. And when we were there, we said, well, how long has this stuff been here? And he says, well, was just this week's stuff, so apparently there's an awful lot of it. I think the biggest issue here is he collects it, he doesn't do
That's
his
where it may
due-
become your junkyard.
he doesn't do his due diligence of scrapping it like he's supposed to.
So, did they give, you said a reasonable amount of time? Did they say what they
No.
consider a reasonable amount of time?
No, unfortunately.
They were making roughly monthly visits.
Okay.
Late
Yeah, I
last
mean,
year
it's
into
been,
this year.
like I say, there's 11 pages, there's letters in here and notes of them going out, and it does say at some point he had cleaned it up, which is what I said, but it didn't stay that way, unfortunately. He brings more stuff in.
But if it's coming and going, and it's not staying there, the drone pictures you're getting, if we got those over time, you could see if it's the same
Well-
stuff there all the time. And
That-
if it is, then he'd be in violation. But if it's coming and going, then unless, Bill, it's like you're saying it falls under what would be considered a junkyard.
But if it comes and goes, they say for scrappers, I know you told me back on the
I
other.
don't remember telling you that, but
Well,
if he's running a commercial operation in a residential zone, it's not authorized. I guess the question is it a commercial zone, I mean, a commercial operation or not, but I mean, if he, sounds like it from what you're just saying.
I don't know if it's scrapper calls it commercial, he's probably looking at it as a home occupation, which,
Which, not in the house.
I don't know, but
Give
it's
me
not,
the pictures and we'll sit down and talk about it.
okay.
Okay.
It's not like nobody's been out there, I
Yeah.
guess is my point.
Yes,
So
AC.
I drive by it quite often. If it's coming and going, it's coming a lot more than it's going.
I agree.
The pile's gotten a lot bigger from the house, it's almost all the way out to the road, which is probably 250 feet,
Yeah,
thereabouts. I don't know, maybe pushing 300 feet, I don't know, but can't even get down the driveway.
And that may fall back into what you're saying then, Bill. So you'll get into that?
Yeah, I'll get into it, and
Yeah,
get pictures
okay.
and take a look. and go
I
from
made
there.
a copy for you.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, any correspondence? Nope.
Nope.
Yes.
Okay.
We received a letter back today, I don't know, Karen, if this goes to you, or, yeah, it goes to you.
Yep.
ZA got a return letter.
Thank you.
And then for the trustees, the election of the Otarma Board of Directors is taking place. If you would like to vote for anybody. And that's all I have.
Doesn't that take place down at the convention?
No later than Saturday, January 14th, so that would be a no.
Well, that's prior to, yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay. All right, is that it?
That's it.
Okay. All right, old business. I think we've kind of hit everything on Polka Road. Is there anything else on Polka Road? Okay. Police contract. We did receive the new proposed contract from Medina PD. You guys each got a copy of it. Have you had a chance to review it?
Yes.
Any discussion? There's one issue I want to bring up, but any discussion from either of you?
No, nothing other than what you're
Okay.
gonna bring up.
Nope.
All right, so there's a section in there, where it's highlighted at, okay. There's a section in here that is a carryover from the last police contract we had, where there was, well, it says in the contract, in addition, the existing levy surplus will be set aside and saved to finance any extraordinary cost that may arise as determined and authorized by the township. So I read that, then I went back and looked at our original contract, and that was in the original contract as well. So that $120-some thousand that was in the police fund could not have been used, based on the last contract, to pay any of the police services. It was a set-aside amount of money, that was by contract. It was put into this contract as well, and we're gonna strike that line out. So we'll be able to use that money for whatever we need to use it for.
Policing.
Police service, yeah, it still has to be police service, but we don't have to hold that back and use that only for an extraordinary large cost. You guys both okay with that?
I'm okay with that. I think it's a good idea.
All right, Bill, do you see any problem with that? No. Okay. And I know you're kinda itching to get this because you've got a very tight window to get it to your,
Right, if you're changing something, then it'll have to go back to the law director.
Okay.
Then we'll get it through.
all right, and that's the only change. So I would ask for a motion to approve the new policing services contract with Medina PD, with the exception that we remove the line in addition to the existing levy surplus, et cetera. Do we have a motion for that?
I would move to accept the entire contract excluding, in addition to existing levy surplus, will be set aside and saved for finance any extraordinary cost.
Would it be wise to explicitly call out the leftover from the last contract in an amount in here, to say that it specifically can be used to pay for the contract this time around?
I don't think you need to.
No, okay. Then I will
I mean,
second.
really, that goes back to what was left, as Marty said, when the previous body was disbanded. What was left, they were keeping that for emergencies.
Okay.
And at that point, I think they really they agreed to just that amount. That's all they were gonna use for salaries, and they had it, so it didn't create a problem.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, same sign? Okay, then we're good with that. Do you want to take this back with you?
I will take it.
Okay, so we're good with that exception. Set that down before, so I'll put in our stack of stuff. Okay. Records retention. We had an amended records retention, or some changes to record retention to cover areas that weren't very clear, and to cover areas that we didn't have anything on before. This is by nature, we have to do this once a year regardless, so we're getting down towards the end of the year, so it's about time to do it anyways. We're a little bit early on this one, but have you guys had a chance to review?
I didn't get that.
I do have a question on the addition to text messaging. Is it and/or administrative value added to that? Or is it just 30 days?
Here's the administrative value.
Yeah,
Okay, as long as administrative
Yep.
value's on there, then I'm good
It
with
is.
that.
okay. Guys, I apologize, I thought I sent it to each of you guys.
You may have.
I thought you did, or I did.
Let me see if that one's different than the one I.
So then what we'll be asking for, if we want to approve this, all this means is then Laura will be given authorization to send this down to the Ohio Historical Society, and then they review it to see if they are okay with it, and if they're okay with it, then they say, yeah, you guys can institute that. They could still look at this and say, no, we don't agree with any of this stuff, regardless of what our board says, and say, you can't do any of that. This is just a submission to them to see if they'll approve it. And then at that point, it would come back to us if they approve it, and then we can officially vote to institute this as a policy.
I would prefer to review this longer before we vote. That's
Okay.
all right.
That's fine. That's fine. We will need to do it at the next meeting, though, because it's gotta be done before the end of the year.
Okay.
Okay.
Keep that.
Okay, next on the agenda,
No.
next on the agenda, hall rental to New Vision Assembly Church. We've talked about this a little bit. You know, they've been in a couple times, they really like the hall, they want to reserve it for every Sunday. Basically, what they told Sherry was forever. So we could do this maybe like a year at a time or something. The only concern I had with this, and I did talk to Bill first, there's no reason why we can't allow a church to use a township building, that's perfectly fine. The only concern I have is if we reserve it for an entire year for one group, that really kinda locks out that whole day. So normally we don't like to split the day, but what I was thinking is, if we agree to rent it to them, and they've actually said, even though they don't have to, they want to pay a rental fee for it. Because they're a nonprofit, they don't have to, they still want to pay the rental fee for it. Which means they were probably paying a lot more where they were at before. But they'll be willing to pay the rental fee, but maybe what we could structure it is to say they need to be out by 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, whatever that time is. So if you have other people that want to rent it on a Sunday, they could do it second half of the day. So the question before the board is, do we want to allow them to rent it for, say, the next 12 months, every Sunday for their services?
Yeah, I gave it quite a bit of thought, and I'm under the same thing as you are. I would see to it that they're out of there by 1 o'clock because, you know, Johnny or Susie's birthday party, they can get started by 2 o'clock. But since this is a first, I would probably just do it for 6 months and then kind of
Okay.
sit down with them and make sure that both parties are still happy with the
Okay.
agreement, then we can kind of revisit it at
Say
that
do it,
point.
let's say do it to the end of June, maybe it's a little bit more than 6 months, but a half a year to
Yeah,
end of June?
yeah, sure,
Okay.
calendar year, end of June,
Okay.
and, but I would make sure that, and they need to come in, but when do they come in and get the key? Friday?
Well,
Before.
normally they come in on the Friday before and get the key. And, you know, that, again, creates an issue, because if somebody's renting it on a Saturday, we have that same issue with two people with the key for the same, which gets back to what we discussed, the potential of long ago, actually even with the old board, we discussed this, is having a fob put on the door. So if we have a fob put on, Sherry can turn on and turn off the fobs at any given time. So if we have 3 people renting it for the week, they can all come in on Monday, and she can have the keys only activated at certain times. And that's, I think Keith told us that was about I think when we did it here, it was about $3,500 to do that.
I
It
would-
does make it more secure.
I would certainly entertain a fob, but I certainly don't have an issue getting a second key.
Well, no, we have 2 keys. The concern that I've always had is, if you're renting it on Sunday, and I'm renting it on Saturday, and we both have the key, you have 2 people that can be there on Saturday, if they come in early, Saturday's set up or something, I mean, we've not had that problem, and maybe I'm just overthinking this.
No, I was gonna raise that too. The church, if it's gonna have any kind of setup, probably wanna do it before Sunday morning, whether.
No, they set up around 10 o'clock.
10
on
o'clock, so
Sunday.
it's a later.
Yeah, I
later
let
service.
them in one time.
Okay. That was my concern.
Even the way it is now, I mean, you could have it rented out Saturday and Sunday. They both pick up
Exactly,
keys up
and we'd have the
front.
same issue. You're right, you're absolutely right.
I would actually kind of reel it back to quarterly at first, rather, just to have a little bit more control over, let's say they rent it for a couple months and they leave it a mess and we don't want to continue.
Well, I know.
Not saying they would.
See, Rick's not here, and I know, I've asked Sherry, and I don't believe we've had any issue or concern with it up to this point.
I haven't heard of any.
I haven't either, but
I'm not, I'd be comfortable, I understand what you're saying, but I'd be comfortable with the 6 months. Take it out to the end of June. And then just kind of revisit from there.
Yep,
Are we okay with that?
I'm okay with it, yeah.
yep.
All right, so, I don't know if we actually need a motion for this, but what the heck, let's do it anyways. Do we have a motion to allow the rental of the hall to New Vision Church every Sunday, with the understanding they would be out by 1 o'clock?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll
And if
second.
if that's not the case, I'll find out when that would be. I'll contact them on Wednesday, have Sherry contact them on Wednesday.
Okay.
And if that's not the case, that'd be the preferred time, is about by 1 o'clock.
For a 6-month term.
For a 6-month term, to end the end of June of 2023.
End of June.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
all right. And,
I'll second.
all right, all those in favor, aye? Aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Okay, any other old business? All right, new business. We had the Santa visit that the chief has already talked about. And we do have one more piece of new business. And this just came up, that's why it's not on the agenda. It just came up at 4:33 PM today. We have insurance through the Buren, is that right? Buren Insurance Group, for the township and all the buildings and all the equipment and all the vehicles. Since the fire district is a separate political entity, we need to have a separate policy for the fire district. Now, it's a little different because the policy that the township has covers the building, because the township owns the building. But the equipment in the building, the trucks, et cetera, are owned by the fire department, or the fire district. Is that correct, Bill?
No, I said you had to check the title, I don't know how they're titled.
Okay. That was my understanding, that it was owned by the fire district. So, that being the case, we needed to have a policy written for the fire district. I know this has gone back and forth with the last board as well, and the last board had decided that it wasn't necessary. After talking to Renee, my own opinion is, I think it is necessary. And the amount on the policy is listed at $25,426. And we're still ironing out a couple pieces of equipment, so it could go up or down a little bit based on that. But then the amount we've already paid for the township, we're gonna get a substantial check back from that. Probably close to offset that amount with a little bit of overlap in some of the services. Is that correct?
It could be, I don't have exact figures, but it could be, yes.
Okay.
Just so you know, it's a $10 million policy, liability policy, so $10 million automobile liability, $10 million general liability. That's what that 25,000 figure represents. Covers all the contents of this building, all of the emergency and fire department, all of the equipment associated, so all the equipment in the squads, all the fire jackets, ladders, all of that stuff. It also
But not the physical building.
not the physical building.
Physical
no,
building
just the
still
contents.
stays onto the township house.
That is correct. It also provides coverage for, it's called a faithful performance bond, and it covers Marty, Ty, and Chris in their capacity as trustees of the fire district. So in the event something would come about that they didn't make the best decision, or not necessarily theft, but it holds them to perform their duties as those trustees. That's in there as well. So they're covered individually as trustees for the township, and then they'll be covered individually as trustees for the fire district.
So all this kind of came about when, a couple years ago, when this actually became a fire district and not just, okay,
Yes.
all right.
So Renee, the total amount that the township paid last year for both entities, so once we split them into their own, it's gonna be close to a wash, the same amount of money, it just half and
I can't-
half-ish.
I can't give
Close.
you that specific answer. That was one of the things we were waiting on, and we'll have that by Wednesday of this week, so we will know. I do know that refunds come back on anything that's over $100,000 in value. So like all of your fire truck equipment, rescue squad equipment, the prorated amount from whatever day we start this policy will go back to the township. And then it'll pick up on this policy going forward. And equipment and things like that. So I don't know, because it was what, October 21st renewal? So from October 21st to say, today's November 21st, so we got a month. More than likely, we'll get back, and it'll wash itself out, but I don't have a firm
Well,
answer.
it's not gonna be an exact wash because there's some areas that we have to double
Right.
pay for.
Right, yeah, so it could be, it could be very close.
Okay.
How big of an issue will it be, like Bill said, if the fire department vehicles here are not titled to the district? I mean, that would be the true owner, correct? It's just
Well,
titled to
from
the
what I
township.
understand from Otarma, from the rep, is that you can do a lease agreement between the fire district and the township trustees, or the township, and say that, the township will keep the titles in their name, and it's up to the fire district to insure the vehicles. Same thing with,
Similar to what we do with the police
absolutely, yes.
UTV.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way, then you don't have to change all those titles. Just simply do that lease agreement and just have it in. Anytime you get something new, we just need to continually add to it.
The only reason I was questioning that, probably when a lot of that equipment was bought, it was before they were told you had to have a fire district. So it was all likely put in the trustee's name.
Right, like, we're talking vehicles and we have it with the ATV, that, and the rest of the stuff I don't know.
Because the change is relatively new.
Pardon me?
The change that they wanted is relatively new, and it was opposed, and finally, that was it. So,
Right, yeah.
so the titles need to be checked on each of the vehicles. Make sure. But as she said, in that case, you can't get reimbursement for the district out of the levy by renting for that, whatever that insurance coverage would be.
Okay. All right, so do we have a motion to approve?
What was the figure right now is 25,000?
25,426, yeah.
I think we have to go a little bit higher just to make sure, right, Renee? A little bit.
Can we motion to approve it up to this amount, and if it's substantially more, do it at the next meeting?
Well, I mean, this would be what we're gonna cut the check for regardless. We aren't gonna cut a check for anything higher than this. If this is truly the case, then we'd wanna get the check for Renee tomorrow, and it will be for this amount. It won't be for anything more.
Oh.
It'll be if they come back later and say, you know what, we need a little bit extra, then we can figure out how we're gonna,
But our
or it
main
might
thing
even be
is-
too much.
Right, is we need to get coverage enforced now.
Right, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I will motion to approve the $25,426.
We have a second for that?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, those opposed, same sign. Okay, so that one's good. You're all set.
So all you have to do is send me an email as to when the check will be ready tomorrow,
Okay.
and then I'll come up with it.
All right, great. Thanks for getting this pushed through so quickly. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Okay, any other new business?
Yes. I would like to, Tim Kassouf is in the audience. He's a member, an alternate of the zoning commission. he is interested in coming on as an admin role for the township. Part of the thing would be to relieve Karen down there, who's graciously been taking our notes for months on end, but to basically serve as another admin assistant, kind of counterpart with Sherry right now. And so I would motion to hire him at a rate of $21 an hour, not to exceed 25 hours a week.
We've got Sherry at 25 right now, right? Not to
$21
exceed.
an hour, Not to exceed 25.
Okay.
Say that again.
She's at what Chris mentioned, $21 an hour, not to exceed 25
Basically the same
hours.
circumstances.
Okay. Okay. Do we have a,
Have a second?
Any discussion? Because I don't have any discussion.
Oh.
I'll second.
I'm good. I'm good. All right, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign? Okay. All right, any other new business? All right, public participation. Yes, sir.
Hi, Steve Demonsky, 6755 Lake Road. Two quick questions for you guys. The Medina fiber project that's going through town, that's a county project, is it not, for the whole county of Medina? Am I understanding that correctly?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay. And right now, all the construction is, or they're laying all the cables, seems like it's coming north to south, but I've noticed it's stopped dead at 162. There's nothing on Ryan, nothing on Lake, nothing on 42 that I've seen.
Excuse
Do you guys happen to know what the timing is on any of that?
It's all over down Ryan.
Is it? Okay, I
Yeah,
haven't seen it.
they've got
If
my
it is-
yard torn up greatly.
Okay, all right, I haven't seen anything on
They tore
Lake.
yours up.
Oh, yeah, they stuck a truck in my driveway. They stuck it
Okay.
down to an axle.
Does anybody know what the timing is for when it might be a completed project? Because we need some internet service in the township. It's
I don't know,
terrible.
we could, let me see what I can find out.
Okay, and the second question, you guys discussed this earlier, I have no firsthand knowledge of what's going on with, I think you said Polka Road. Just to throw out a little information, in the city that I used to work in, we used to be able to cite the scrappers. We'd get them for a misdemeanor theft offense because the contract that was signed with the city, I don't know if they signed contracts with the township, but they specifically stated that once your garbage is put out by the roadway, it becomes their property.
But you said that with the garbage people.
You're right, because you're talking about the scrappers, and he's going around scrapping on garbage and then putting it in the yard. So if you cut down on the scrappers, maybe you could cut down on him putting stuff in his yard. We used to be able to cite him.
And see, we don't have, it's.
Okay,
each
I didn't know how it was set
individual
up, I just thought I'd throw
Yeah.
that out there.
Good thought, but yeah, it's just individuals with garbage companies.
Okay, very good.
Yeah,
Okay.
cities can do that, townships
Yeah.
don't have a contract with scrappers.
I had heard that was illegal.
Which part?
Me going to somebody else's
Okay.
yard picking it up.
Anything else?
Marty, if I could just jump in,
Right
kind
away.
of maybe answer your question a little bit about the fiber. Anybody who's interested in fiber, get on the website and sign up for it, because they're putting fiber in the neighborhoods where they can get the most bang for their buck first. So
Okay,
that's
thank
where
you.
they're going first, is when they get the better part of the, So,
I'm just curious, does satellite coverage, you see the commercials about you want phone calls and Wi-Fi and stuff, you use satellite, there's several satellite companies that are advertising on the TV. I mean, wouldn't that be an option for the parts of the areas in the county that can't get hardwired services? I don't know that much about the satellite.
I don't know if it's a speed issue at that point or not.
I mean,
Typically, satellite services aren't nearly as speedy as
I don't
as a
really
line.
know.
And the reliability is not great either. Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious why, as a interim, that wouldn't
Yeah.
be something that people could take a look at.
Okay. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Justin Paroli. Just a follow-up on the last meeting. I noticed there's still no posting down at the town hall.
Correct.
Does that mean that it's the board's position that they don't have to follow the public body rule for a formal meeting?
Bill, would you like to address that?
Well, I think you need to follow, the rule needs to be adopted. I don't think it necessarily would invalidate something, it would subject them to an injunction, a mandatory injunction to do it. I talked to briefly about it, they need to do it now. They just handed me an amendment to it. I'm gonna look it over and it'll be adopted at the next meeting, hopefully.
So the plan is just to change the rule as
Right.
opposed to
Right.
adhering to the one they passed. Okay, that's fair. And then I wanted to follow up and.
No, you said one question, you're done.
I didn't say one, I said that was subtle. Since you walked into it, or since you guys addressed it tonight, the resolution that you just passed, the very first one for the police levy, that was, if I understand correctly, because you didn't read it into the resolution, it's for 2.3 mils plus a 0.2 mil increase. And I know, Marty, you spoke at a previous meeting about not collecting an increase if necessary.
Correct.
So the projections that were done by the county, the certificate of resources that was provided to you guys, showed that as is, a renewal, straight renewal, would collect $384,000. That was their projection. I've got it right
Well,
here.
I can show you the email I just got from Krista that says it's 372,000.
No, that's for this year. That's the 2021. That's what you'll collect this year, because that's on this sheet right here.
Okay.
So the projection for next year was for 384, all right? When Auditor Kovac came in and did the presentation to you guys, you even asked them specifically what the danger was if their projections not collecting what they asked. And his answer, if you remember correctly, was in 29 years on the job, it's never under collected. So the 384 would be the minimum that a straight renewal would increase, or would collect. Potentially more, especially since that projection doesn't include any new development that's gone on.
That is correct. Or
Then
the
you
new
come to
property
the fact-
values.
Then you come to, I don't wanna get too lost in all the numbers, but then you come to the fact, the money that you just brought up, and I don't wanna get into an argument about it, but that money predates the city ever being involved. That
You're right.
127 is from a prior levy, and there was $127,000. What I find interesting is the certificate of resources that shows where the funds are. The unencumbered balance on that account for January 1st of this year was $127,000. The certificate of resource for 2023 shows that that account will be at zero. So where, I guess I have a couple of questions. One, why not just collect the renewal and not the increase that you don't need and will cost the taxpayers more than what the contract costs? And two, where did the money go that was in that police fund? Because again, according to the certificate of resources from the county, that budget, or that account will be at zero on January 1st of next year. And that's based on information that they would have received from the township.
Did you hear? I've not seen that, Justin.
It was sent to you on September 16th of this year. You can look
Go
at
back
it.
and- Well, no, I'll have to go back and look. I don't remember seeing that, though, I don't.
Okay, well,
I'm
how
not
about-
saying I didn't have it.
How about on the resolution for taxing? You guys are gonna collect the projection, I think it was what you had said in the paper, the renewal with the increase, the county's projecting 416.
I think that was right, yes.
Okay, so it'll be more than that. And you have $120,000+ in reserves that can only be used for policing. But you're
And-
opting not to do that.
And once we know exactly what we're gonna collect, that's what I said before. Once we know exactly what we're gonna collect, and I can't get that from the auditor, they can only give me what they have today. If that's the case, if we're gonna be there, then we will ask them to pull back the 0.2 mil increase.
When can you do that?
As soon as they tell me. I just asked Kristen 3 days ago.
If you don't tell them by December 1st, they will
Well,
collect.
it's by early December. I don't know if it's by the first or
Well,
not.
either way.
But it's by early December, I agree. But until they tell me, I can't do anything. So we're kind of
Till they
in a
tell
cat
you-
and mouse, what we're gonna collect.
And when
Where
are they
to-
gonna be able to give you those numbers?
As soon as they can give them to me. I don't know because she couldn't tell me.
She could.
I
They have to
asked,
send- they have to
well,
send
I asked her,
evaluations.
Justin, and she said
I
she.
spoke to her on Monday, the county sends the evaluations to the state. The
Okay.
state will get them back to them. They won't be able to certify those till the end of December. But you have more than enough information right here to know that you don't need the increase. But you're gonna overtax the residents to pay for a service.
And that's your opinion, and you're welcome to it.
Okay, so no comment on either of those two things?
I did comment.
Okay.
You just didn't like my comment. All right, any other, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
Oh,
off.
no,
Anything else?
If you don't mind.
No, no.
2 meetings ago, Trustee Fullerton, you mentioned, we talked about the reciprocity agreement with Westfield. One of the questions that I asked was, what you know, if anything had been put in place to, I know you did the punch cards to be able to verify when the employees are checking in and out, and I asked about verifying where they're working. You said things were done. Can you elaborate on exactly what's been done to verify whether our township employees are working in Lafayette or whether they're working in Westfield?
They write what they do on their timesheets.
So it's the same procedure as what we had in 2021, which has been proven to be inaccurate.
Well, that would be your opinion.
Well, okay, that's what I'm just saying, like,
That would be your opinion.
nothing's been done to, no additional steps have been put in place to verify where
Well,
they're working.
no, that's not actually true. The additional steps have been the actual punch time cards, as opposed to, please, as opposed to what was done for all the years that I was here before this board took over, which was write your time on a piece of paper, and you don't know if that was really accurate or not. So now we at least know that these are the real times they're showing up and the real times they're leaving, because they're verified on a card. Are we saying that you're still signing off on what they're doing?
I was-
Absolutely.
But the question 2 meetings ago was, are we doing anything to verify where they're working other than what we
Okay.
did in the past? And Mr. Fullerton said that we were. I don't know if maybe I didn't make the question clear enough, or, so. if
They
nothing
still
was done.
are required to write down what they do that day.
But other than Rick verifying where they're working,
Well, of course.
there's nothing
He's the
else that's done.
manager, yep.
You did mention too that you were gonna be meeting with,
I actually talked to him on the phone. We did a little phone tag for quite a while, and he's still reaching out to his trustees until we sit down. He's trying to figure out what they're wanting to do on their
so
side.
you haven't been able to meet with him yet is all.
Talked to him on the phone, and he
Well,
said he wasn't ready to
gotcha.
meet yet. Yep, that's Mike.
And then, right, thank you. And then the last thing that I would ask is, since trustees Fullerton and trustee O'Neill were sworn in December of last year, how many times have 2 or more of you gotten together, either in person or via phone or email, to discuss township business outside of one of these meetings?
Never, that'd be a violation of sunshine law.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because we've got video footage of the 3 of you meeting at the town hall in late December.
Before they were trustees.
Again, so you're saying
Before
that
they were
you
trustees.
discussed everything you were gonna do with the organizational meeting, and the cover is that you hadn't taken office yet.
Justin, I am not gonna listen to that.
Well,
It's
here's-
not a cover.
It is a cover.
No,
It
it's
is a
not.
cover.
Bill,
On
would you
top of
like,
that-
Bill,
on
would you
top of
like
that,
to address that?
do you want-
Justin, I would like our law director to address you directly, because you went down the same path before.
Okay,
Bill?
They're not trustees, so where's
Okay.
the violation?
then, the comment that was made, well, actually, we want to go with the comment that, the special meeting on November 8th for voting, you called because I had stopped in when I voted, and you said that you guys had gone into recess, and that you were in the back speaking with the Otarma representative.
No, I said we had been in and out of recess when there was only one person there,
You-
and let's
No,
take a
your
look.
exact words were
Let's
you were
take a
meeting with
look,
the
Justin.
Otarma rep in the back office.
Right, we were, and we were in meeting at that point at 9 AM.
You,
Hold on, Justin. I know you like the facts, let's do this. If you all will indulge me. This is the meeting minutes from the Tuesday, November 8th special meeting. Lafayette Township Board of Trustees, Medina County, Ohio, met in special session on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, at 6:30 a.m. at the Lafayette Township Service Garage, Wedgewood Road, Medina, Ohio. Notice this meeting was consistent, da-da-da. Trustee Warcola called the meeting of the Lafayette Township Board of Trustees to order at 6:30 a.m. Members Preston, Fulton, and Warcola. 9 a.m., Trustee O'Neill arrives and joins the meeting. From 6:30 until then, we met and talked to several residents, no major issues, mostly introductions. 9:15 a.m., all 3 trustees met with Renee from Berman Flower Insurance Company while we were in session.
open to the public,
Absolutely.
really?
Sure.
At what time?
9:15, might have been 9:13, about 9:15.
So, when I was at the Coffee and Donuts, and I believe your daughter was there and Rick was out front, and I asked about it, and they said, well, they're in the back. Why, if it was open to the public, why wasn't I directed to the back to
Did you
observe?
ask to go back?
Since
Did
when
you-
can you change the location of the meeting?
It was posted where it was gonna be, right here.
Okay.
That's enough questions. Anybody else have any other questions?
You're just shutting it down right now? Because, I mean,
Yeah, because I'm kinda done playing patty cake with
it's
you.
not, it's
All
not
of your
playing pancake.
questions are
You just walked in.
one-sided.
One-sided.
Let
You-
me talk once, and you listen. I'm sick and tired of patty cake with you. All your questions are one-sided, always spinning, and it's disgusting. It really is. If you got pertinent information for the township, we are more than welcome to answer your questions. But you can ask what you want, but that doesn't mean we have to answer them.
And that's
Anybody
exactly
else
right.
have any questions?
Chase Berman.
Chase, go ahead.
6310 Lafayette Road. So I, about 5 weeks ago, got the exact same response, Justin. I was told to just shut up and some things
Yeah.
were tabled, Marty. So go ahead and just follow up on that since it wasn't in correspondence. You mentioned at the meeting about 5 weeks ago that you guys would figure out how to get together without getting together to answer my questions. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, because I was here, I
Yeah, you remember all that? Yeah, so let's see if we can.
Well, and since I spin everything.
Well, someone
Hold
would
on.
get back, one of the trustees, whoever
Well, we
is
should have, you know,
concerned.
you're supposed to just take a
We've
vote.
got the- we've
Hold on,
got the
listen,
video. Sorry.
what I'm waiting for now for over 6 months is beyond frustrating, all right? And
What
I'm gonna share
is
some
it you want?
information with you, Mr.
What is it you
Marco.
want?
You have no recollection of,
Chase, I'm asking you. Every time you ask questions, you go 9 directions. And quite honestly, you confuse the hell out of me.
okay, well then let's go ahead, I'm gonna stand up just because it's hot right there. Let me share some information with you, all right? And this
Are you
goes-
gonna ask your question, or are you gonna go on a speech?
I asked a question 5 weeks ago and I was told I would have a response at the next
So
meeting.
what's your question? What was your question you asked 5 weeks ago?
6280 Lafayette Road. I asked if it was a commercial property or if it was a rural residential property. The law director told me one thing, your zoning inspector told me another thing, okay? As I tried my best to comprehend the confusion I was receiving, you told me to stop talking. I was talking in circles. Last meeting, my wife brought up a few things about the Dollar General. She was immediately dismissed, okay, immediately dismissed. Told her, quote, "It's going in, Ally." Okay?
Actually, I can give you the quote. It's right
And
in
then,
there.
it said she was running around in circles. So here's where I'm at, all right? My wife and I made the first official, okay, offer on the property at 6280 Lafayette Road, about 2 years ago, okay? We made the first formal offer. We also made the third formal offer on that property, okay? So that would put us then in a research stage of about almost 3 years ago now at this point. My wife and I researched quite a bit about 6280, the district we live in, which we were well aware was a local, that's why we bought it. It was one of my key points is buying some commercial land, okay? Let it be noted that not only twice by Alice, once by you, maybe even by some other folks in this room, we were told directly that maybe we should have done our research before we bought land in a commercial district. And if we didn't like the fact that the Dollar General was going in, then maybe we should have done our due diligence prior to the property being sold, okay? I think what I just said explains the fact that it's absolutely not the case. Never once have I been angry that a commercial building is going in next door to me, okay? Never once. Never once. What I've been mad about is the way the township has handled the procedures and has handled dealing with the folks that hired you guys, okay? That was my biggest concern right off the rip. Week after week, I come in here and I hear questions being raised by the same folks, and it takes 7 weeks for this man to get his answer, okay? 30 days, I was at the meeting, which was 5 weeks ago, that she said she would do something about it in 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. You guys both agreed, 30 days, but then we wait 16 days or something like that to even, you know what I'm saying? So eventually, we need to just start being a little more diligent, all right? So with that being said, is 6280 going to be considered by the township a rural property or a commercial property? And I also think it matters when my wife and I lost the ability to purchase the rural because I did my homework, okay? I said, well, she's doing it wrong. Somebody's doing some things wrong, so this will no longer be commercial. So as I'm talking to Gersbacher, and I'm talking to Marlene O'Meara, okay? The folks that own the property, and the realtor that owns the property. And I'm 700, 900 an acre away from buying a farm for my family, okay? At a price I can afford. And then a commercial guy comes in and says, oh, I got more money. If I can build some storage units on it, I'll give you more money. And they say, yep, yeah, that's fine, you can. And I go, well, well, what about me? Can I build some commercial storage units on rural residential land? Am I allowed to do that? Because I'll actually spend the extra money. I'll invest the extra $13,000 in order to obtain the land that I've been after for over 3 years. 7 years, as a matter of fact. It took me 4 years to get a hold of Marlene O'Meara out in Washington State, out of Bellevue. I mean, does that give you a little bit, did I share a little bit of my over, or no?
No, if it's with it.
That's what I'm saying.
I still
It's
don't know
more
what your
than just
question
me
is,
being
though.
salty pants about Dollar General being put in. It's the fact that I based my financial decisions, okay, and my investment decisions based upon the law that is in the book that you guys are here to uphold, all right? And then I made those decisions, and then I'm told by the township, weeks after, well, months after I make this decision, that basically all the research I did was wrong. And that I should have researched it a little harder. And I'm really confused. So, you may.
So am I, so I guess we're in the same boat.
Well, then let's ask somebody that knows what's going on.
I still, Chase, don't know what your question is.
I don't know your name. You're very,
Can somebody
you
tell,
understand my
Justin,
question?
what's his question?
Chase.
Is it rural?
6280 is the address you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
He wants to know whether that property as is gonna be able to be developed commercially and throw a whole bunch of storage units in.
Well, anything commercial, it don't matter what it is. Again, I'm not against commercial.
That's the property that's directly behind the
Okay. It's the
new
Dollar
flat
General.
lot.
All the property on 42 that's in the local commercial zone is commercial to a depth of, I think it's
Don't say,
950
it
feet.
varies actually.
Pardon me?
How much frontage
It
do you
varies.
need though?
The frontage is
commercial.
required, it's 175 feet
For commercial.
off of it, yes.
Right.
Also for a home. The land that is continued, because that property has a lot of acreage, after where the local commercial zone stops, it is rural residential. So the property in question, the one that was 30-some acres approximately, is a combination of local commercial in the front and rural residential in the rear.
Does that answer your question?
Not at all. So it was, hold on, Marty, it was. If we had a dry erase board, I can make this real simple, but really,
Right behind you.
all we gotta do is
Have
just
at
pay
it.
attention when I talk
Steve,
for
can
the
you
last
put the
7
camera
months.
over there, please?
So here we go, okay, this is 62, this is 6280 Lafayette Road, okay? This is 6280 Lafayette, this is 6310, this is Dollar General. This is my house, this goes way further
Dollar
back.
General is 6,300,
6300?
yeah,
Okay.
just for
Thanks.
clarity.
Good. All right, appreciate it. So 6,300, did I say 6,310? That's my house. 6,310, here's 6,300, okay? 80 feet. 80 feet, okay? 80 feet. Here's your township. This is all rural residential. This was local commercial district along with this, okay? This was local when this was 440, okay? That's not 440 anymore, that is now 80. So if we split a parcel, okay, and we manipulate the opening width, the frontage, if you will, of a parcel, the land stays commercial?
You're not manipulating anything. 80 feet is for what I affectionately call the throat. To put a road in to be accessible to the rear property that is
Okay.
still local commercial.
Okay, so
And the
we gotta put a
property
road
there,
in.
wait a second. Any local commercial business going in there has to have 175 feet off of a road. That 80 feet is where the road is going back, and anybody that develops that back part of the local commercial will have to extend that road back to
Okay,
meet the
okay.
requirements.
So the specs on this road right here, the apron, okay, that would be the entrance to that road, or I guess.
That
where-
is going to be the road, period.
Okay, okay. So as we got it right now, okay, this is all trees. You pull into Dollar General like this, right? There's a parking lot. So this apron that they're putting in right now, right here next to Dollar General, which will eventually allow access easement to this back property, that is per county road specs?
No, it's through the,
ODOT.
ODOT.
Okay,
But
but
the road
you mentioned
building-
there'll be a road here.
There is going to
So
be.
that'll have to
If-
be
would you
under
wait a second?
Medina County
If it's
spec.
going to be developed in the back, a road will have to continue past where the driveway of Dollar General's. That's why the 80
So you'll
feet
drive
is
through
there.
a driveway and then onto a road.
That whole thing will be a road and
So they'll
then
tear this out and build this to the road specs of the Medina County engineer.
it will be to the specs that are required.
That's a good question. If all that is one property, how is that gonna be a private road?
I didn't say private. I
It has
said
to
it's
be
going to be a
private, it's all
road.
one property.
All right, so,
If the
I don't believe
backland
you.
is developed, it will be
and I
a
don't
public
feel that you
road.
know what you're talking about, so I'm gonna ask
Well-
Bill.
All right, that, you know what, Chase,
She
I've asked
she has
you-
lied
Chase,
in this room
I've
on
asked you
record.
before, don't be rude.
I'm just being honest,
nobody's-
that's my
no,
opinion,
that's
everybody's
your
allowed to
opinion.
have their opinion.
Well, you might not want to hear what some people have opinions of you then, Chase.
Hey, you know what, you're allowed to
No,
have all of your
but
opinions.
I'm a little bit more polite
you
to
can-
that.
You can bring
Please
up
take a seat.
anything here that you want to
Please take
about
a
me.
seat.
I'm a very open individual.
Please take a seat.
Mr. Thorne, I can sit down.
Thank you.
But Mr. Thorne, I truly feel that finding just the right answers to this question, especially when I have
I think
made
you
the
had the
point,
right answer to your question. It's still local commercial.
even
I
though
told
the
them.
road's not put in.
Until, right now, they can use their rural residence whatever they want, and they don't need it. But if they're gonna develop it, commercial, it's gotta meet the code.
So what about the guy that bought the property that was told it was local commercial?
But it's
Without
local
having a
commercial.
road?
Well, when he was told he didn't have to put a road in, he was lied to, so that they could sell the property.
Right.
No, they knew they knew that they were gonna need a road before that was bought, at least according to the individual I talked to.
Okay, but she, at that same meeting, had no idea who that individual was.
And that may be, we talked to her on the phone after
What,
that.
for the,
And it wasn't the
storage
actual developer, it was the person, the architect that
Jason
designed to lay it out.
Stevenson, right?
And he wanted to know what they needed, and he was told.
And so you told him personally that he would need to put a road in if you wanted to keep it, and that was recently then? This is obviously before the conversation that I brought up 5 weeks ago.
I don't
Just a
remember the
couple
date, but
weeks
yeah,
ago.
we had a conversation.
Just a couple weeks ago?
I can't give you an exact date, but we did talk to him. We told him that if he wanted to
So it's
pursue.
post-sale. See,
For Dollar
no,
General,
say-
not the back, he said they had not purchased anything when they
No,
talked.
they're looking at it.
They were looking at it, but they hadn't purchased anything.
They're not gonna purchase it unless they know. Well, it was sold maybe to somebody, but if somebody sells a piece of property without subdividing it to another individual, the township is not involved in it.
So was Hirschbacher ever contacted by anybody, or did they ever reach out to talk to you guys about the ins and outs of this, or were they just pushing a property that they were unsure of?
I don't know
Because
who was,
maybe
I don't know who was pushing the property at all.
Okay, well, bottom line is, I was told very different things.
By who?
Well, just most recently, come on, Mark, you know.
Not-
All right, is there anything else? Chase, anything else?
You know, I just, yeah.
Go ahead, Diane.
Yes.
Nothing to do with any of this. I am Winslow. I'd like to know, would like to know if there was a possibility of putting a street light at the entrance of Technology Lane. It's absolutely pitch dark.
I thought Rich was supposed to, I brought that up, Diane, because
Rick.
you're absolutely right.
Rick,
It's
not Rich.
ridiculous. And,
It's pitch dark.
Rich and I, or excuse me, Chris and I were in the office, Rich came in and I asked the two of them if they could not put some kind of a reflector at least up there so that we could see where the driveway is. And that island that they put in prior to me goes all the way out into the road right-of-way, which it never should have. It should have been back. I like islands, but I don't, they need to be out of the road right-of-way so that when somebody turns in, you're not it's not as tight as it is, especially unlit. And I believe you and Rich discussed whether.
Yeah, Rick said he may be able to put reflectors in there.
Yeah, I was hoping to see the reflectors, because it was about a week and a half ago. Because I agree with you, Diane, it's absolutely dangerous. People don't, there's absolutely nothing there, even though you know it's there.
Right, right.
So I don't know where, Rich was gonna put in some, or Rick was supposed to put in a couple of reflectors so that we could see where it's at. And there was a small discussion as to whether or not they could put a street light there.
Now that, we could do a street light because that's for the general public benefit.
If you've made a finding that would for the general
Right.
public, obviously coming into your fire station or your emergency rooms and so
Right.
forth, you could probably justify
So
that for
that
the
would be
general public.
justifiable as opposed to some of the other ones we've talked about.
Right.
Okay.
You go out, when you go out tonight, see how dark it is.
Yeah.
And then you start.
Okay, thank you. All right, anything else from public? Are we good?
Okay.
Okay. All right. We have it on the docket. Do we need an executive session?
Yes.
Okay, so is this pursuant to RC 121?
Yes, personnel related.
Personnel related?
You need to say specifically hiring, firing. What is the purpose of hiring, firing? This one?
Potential discipline.
Okay. This one?
Okay. All right, so roll, vote to go
Can you
into,
restate the motion completely, please?
all right, going into executive session pursuant to ORC 121.22G1 for hiring, firing, and discipline,
Got it.
potential discipline.
Yeah, I think this one, he just said discipline, so that's
Okay.
all it needs to be.
All right, just discipline. All right, so
And
roll
I'll
call
second,
vote.
yep, I'll second that, roll call. Wolverton, yes.
O'Neill, yes?
Marcola, yes. All right, so we will be going into executive session at 8:12 PM. I have no idea how long this one's gonna be, hopefully not long. Bringing into session would be Law Director Thorne and our fiscal officer.
There weren't copies on the deal. I misread it. I thought that they had
What are we
talked to
talking
you
about?
on the, what he was bringing up. Because they emailed
All right, it's 9:55. We're coming back in out of executive session. No decisions were made. I would put a motion out that we pay the warrants of the township and adjourn.
I'll
Do we have a
second.
second?
I'll second.
Okay. Can you mark down the motion, the second, Laura, for? All right, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, same sign. Thank you very much.